He does.
Prediction? Yes, prediction. Hey.
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just I hate that. I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, be being a great war. Maybe we would a Mexican. I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you. Perfect. For playing, man. I appreciate it.
Good timing, man.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Estamos en vivo, ladies and gentlemen. We are Long Live Boxing. Y recuerda, En Vivo Podcast. Como siempre, Manny Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
We always break it down like it is, like it should be.
Como debe de ser.
Episode
81.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are in your mouth.
What should we call this one? Old
boca.
timers. We should call this the living death coming back, or we're just talking about the shot, and y'all thinking that I am going to.
We're calling this episode
The old people. The old man.
The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. You know what? I actually like that name a lot, and the fact that I'm agreeing with you scares me a lot.
Scary.
There's a new man in town, and he's the same old man in town. What the hell's going on in boxing? No one knows. They're announcing fights of guys I didn't know were alive.
Wow. Rest in peace to everybody that Gringo thought has died.
And some of them,
R.I.P. De La Hoya.
Some of them used to drink pee.
Oh, I knew he was alive.
Oh, wow.
Because he's on Deportes hating on
ESPN Deportes always hating on Canelo. He's number one Canelo hater.
Yeah.
Is he?
Number one pee drinker, number one Canelo hater. Not in that order, baby. But seriously, what's been going on lately is strange because, we joke around a lot, obviously, love my brothers, but the thing that we really want to push is the fact that a young youth movement, to get the boxing growing, you got to have a grassroots effort to kind of build it up as far as within the excitement of the youth. And there's a lot of great
about the prospects in Puerto
the
Rico.
prospects in Puerto Rico. We just talked about them with O'Connell. Shout out to him.
Yep.
We'd love to talk about the exciting fighters they have just here locally. You with our boy Listo Gaitan, Güero Vasquez, Sweat Boxing Gym. Much love to them and all the young fighters that are up and coming that are on the rise. And part of that is you have to know your history, but now it's like history's
repeating itself
literally, and it's putting itself back in the forefront. Now, Hopper, is this a good thing, bad thing? What's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, let's talk about everybody that's supposedly coming out. Like Oscar De La Hoya says he's coming out of retirement.
Right.
Miguel Cotto versus my man, the pee drinker, Juan Manuel Marquez.
I'll have another.
Hey,
if
drinking pee makes you box like that, and go to the restroom real quick.
So, give me a double shot.
What you're gonna do is re-drink your beer. That's it.
I don't drink, sir. Sorry.
I'm in
got me
recycle
confused
mode
with the wrong Hopper as I drink my beer.
Literally.
Salud.
Shout out to Modelo.
But anyways, Miguel Cotto, Juan Manuel Marquez, June 12th in Miami.
Yeah.
The supposed Eric Morales versus Marco Antonio Barrera has since been canceled. Woo. Now Barrera is fighting Jesus Soto Carras. Who he himself was a brawler.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
very good memories of him.
That's a tough fight for Barrera.
It is.
And he just recently retired.
I was about to say, like, it's almost like he's got some bad blood. He's like, you know what? I just retired last week, but damn it, I'm about to get a check.
I'm gonna get a check. And then Tyson versus Holyfield, 3, right? Is close to being done. And Steve Cunningham, Mr. USSR. He's set to take on former UFC champ Frank Mir, April 17th on that Jake Paul Ben Askren card. And then Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. is fighting Hector Camacho Jr. June 19th in the main event.
All right.
Which will feature
El Circo.
his son,
Chavez.
Chavez Jr.
Tiene la
In high
carpa y
heels?
todo así.
versus Spider Anderson the Spider Silva, MMA legend. So
Anderson Spider
I'm actually
Silva.
I'm very intrigued for that one. The Chavez Jr. versus MMA. It's Spider.
Translation.
Okay,
He wants someone to get hurt.
so is he going to quit again?
Probably. It's a good
Before,
chance for
after,
that.
or during the fight?
Probably as soon as the fight starts and he sees that Spider is very well trained, in great shape. He's gonna be like,
And he's
you
going
know
to
what?
take it serious?
He's gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna go.
I got
I'm
an
outta here.
eyelash on my eye. I can't see.
My heel just broke.
My heel just broke.
So
Papa's going to bail him out
But
and
no,
fight
definitely.
him too?
Do I like these fights? I mean, okay. I guess I got to start with Tyson. When Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr.
let's take it back.
Let's take it back. Let's take it back.
Let's take it back.
I
that's
bashed
the
it. I
initially
bashed
of
it.
that, yeah.
When that's like the first one that kind of started all of this, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Chavez Sr., he had already fought Travieso Arces too.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
see,
Right?
that's a great point. Those felt different to me.
Yeah, they felt like the way
More
it still hadn't
exhibition-esque.
caught on. Yeah, when Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. was announced, I bashed it. I labeled it
I
a
think we all did,
circus. I
and
labeled
it's
it as
recorded.
circles. But you know what? I still watched.
He was the first one to order it, ladies and gentlemen.
Me and my
Like in
buddies,
the world.
me and my buddies, we got together,
Tablitas.
and we actually, yes sir, we cooked out, we drank, we had a great time, and you know what? Well, I'll be damned.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
I think it was more.
I actually freaking enjoyed it.
Hubbard, it was more because boxing was kind of out of sight, and we weren't having
Maybe the pandemic,
fights,
yeah, and I was starving
all
for
of a sudden
boxing.
you're seeing like two legends are going at it again. Although we knew it was exhibition, they couldn't supposedly couldn't knock out each other, but we still wanted to see that glance that we used to see from both fighters when they were in their primes,
And
it got everyone together, and it broke. I mean, it made Tyson millionaire again, but also I think it just set the the expectations of things that can be done. Especially a great job that Trillo did.
That's what I was about to say.
Promoting them.
That's what elevated the whole show was the fact that Triller put so much money behind it.
Right.
The great commentators and Snoop Dogg, he did his thing that night.
He was amazing.
The concert that they gave, I mean, it was an experience.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth the money. And then we all pitched in, so it didn't seem like a huge
$49
burden.
wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Everybody pitched. I mean, we actually ended up having a lot extra. So, but then I also watched Chavez Sr. versus Travieso Arce. And oh my goodness, what a fight! They were banging for old people.
Yeah.
They were trying to knock each other's heads off.
I mean, I knew Chavez would come out.
They've had
pretty
3,
strong,
right?
But
Yes, they've had 3, and I didn't even watch the first 2 because I thought it was kind of a circus, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me give it a chance.
No.
And sure enough, it was very entertaining. So I guess I'll say I don't want to bash these guys coming out of retirement, especially because I'm a big fan of almost all of them. I'm going to take it as a fight-by-fight basis. And just like any current pro fight, some hit, some miss. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely going to be watching.
Yeah, so this kind of
I'm going to
touches
save my
on
judgment until after the fight.
where, I like to say old man boxing and how much is too much, because you have fighters that are, really still actively a part of the boxing landscape. Case in point, there's a lot of buzz and excitement right now for Manny Pacquiao possibly against Crawford. People are excited
Somebody
about that.
dreamed that fight.
Yeah, literally.
And it came to fruition.
Yeah, shout out to our brother Manny. So, that you have that possibility, and he'd be coming off a 2-year layoff, and it shows you how times fly. I forgot that when he fought Thurman, it was back in 2019.
Yeah, that was the last time.
Yeah, so, here we go again with the possibility of that. Just the fact that that's a possibility, and, it would be against fighting Crawford, a prime Crawford. You got to, irregardless of how you feel about Manny Pacquiao, good, bad, or indifferent, I mean, that's really, if this fight does come to fruition, it's very commendable, but it also leads to the other point that I'm bringing to this as far as having the older fighters. Does it lead to some concern as far as like, okay, yeah, legacy, you're a warrior, you want to go out on your shield, but, I mean, do you have to lose years off your life? Manny, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's great. It's great action to see that. See these guys coming back. I think the sport needs it right now until we get the foot on the door, and I think a lot of people are still.
So the sport needs it. Wait, did you say that?
Yeah, I think they need some of these guys to keep just bringing some of these stuff.
That's a drop right there.
No,
save it, Spider.
No. I think it needs that, and you know, it's important, but I also have a concern too, because when you look at some of these fighters, you know, their previous fights, and I know that I'll probably speak for Marquez and Cotto. Marquez left like in really good shape, I think, and I think he probably maintained.
He had that knee problem.
Oh, the knee problem, yeah. But I think he's still maintaining shape because we've seen him a couple times back in there.
Head from the head,
but from the head, exactly. So Cotto the same way. I mean, even when he fought the last fight against Saddam Ali, he didn't look that good.
He didn't.
You know, ever since he fought,
I had a watch
Margarito,
party that day.
Yeah.
I really did, because I like big old Cotto, Puerto Rican, but I was big fan of him. And it was his last fight. We had I had a bunch of friends over. I had cooked out. I did everything, and then the fight started, and it was kind of disappointing, and I hated.
So my concern is what are their mindsets and how are they going to come in? We did see Tyson. We've seen what they did. You know, they kind of got exhausted a little bit in the third, fourth round. But these guys, they still feel like they have it. So are they coming in with that mentality? And how much can your brain sustain more damage? You know, ever since Margarito fought Cotto has never been the same boxer. He swells a lot. His endurance is not the same as it is. What is it? Is it going to be a 6-rounder? Is that what it is?
Usually all exhibitions.
Exhibition 6-rounder. But, I mean, you're still going to get hit a lot. And we've seen Cotto. We've seen him once altogether, but I've seen him twice after he retired. He looked in great shape. But
we saw him at Grand Prairie. We all went.
Grand Prairie.
Yeah.
But when I see him interviewing,
we met him there.
When I see him interviewing, he doesn't speak the same. You know what I mean? And we've talked to some of these boxers that have retired, and even Tito Trinidad, which, by the way, a lot of rumors that he's actually gonna also come back. We talked about it before that they've been linked to him that he's been training, but I don't know how much. I mean, he speaks well still, but still you can see a glimpse of like all the shots he took through his career. That eventually, when is it enough? There's no money for these guys. These guys made millions. Why are they doing this? Is it they want to help the sport, or is it because they can't part ways with the only thing they know how to do? It's box.
What do you think, Gringo?
That's a great point that you touched on. A lot of key,
a lot of great points. That's
sweet sauce.
It's a lot of sauce right there, man.
Sauce nuggets.
Shout out to Manny.
Woohoo!
Shout out to Nuggets.
Clip it.
Clip it.
But what I'm thinking about, you know, what the crux of what you're saying is basically they're warriors, and this is all that they know.
Yeah.
And then you take the combination of this is how I made my money,
and I can make more money.
And I can make more money, and we're in a day and age where people, let's be honest, are looked upon as not being as good as I am or lesser of what I was, and they're making this much money. If I'm given and bestowed an opportunity to make money, you know, and I have a small window, you know, why not? I still have the fire. I still need money, you know, and I still want to go out there.
Oscar De La Hoya don't need money.
Neither does Miguel Cotto.
Miguel Cotto don't need money.
I think it's just the competitive juices that are flowing, and they want to get out there.
And because you're involved in the sport still, you're promoting boxers, and you see them train every single day. I think you get that urge, like, man, I want to keep doing that. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm going to go in shape. Like when you start at the gym, the first month, aren't you there like, you know, 5 days a week, you know, religiously at the time in the afternoon, right? And you're starting feeling good. And you're like, wow. But I imagine someone that's trained for a living, boxed, you know, and made a lot of money, and all of a sudden they get that urge back again. I want to know how it feels. And it's a sport that you can't really part ways. That's the way I always see it. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous for these guys to go back and risk their lives. Because when is it enough? If you're loaded with money, do you rather enjoy the money now with your family and with everything you're doing right now? Or would you rather, you know, end in a bed? Or, you know, like some of these guys, Benitez, you know, Vargas. I mean, all these guys that are, they can barely, I mean, look at even Muhammad Ali.
Before he rest in peace. Yeah,
rest in peace. I mean, I'm sure he enjoyed, but
that's that CTE, brother.
Yeah.
A lot of these shots to the head, and that's a good point, John. I want to elaborate more on that because, and Oscar De La Hoya, his problems with substance abuse are well documented, and that does damage to your body.
Exactly.
True. You know that does damage. You're gonna come back out to fight,
and to the brain. I mean, he dressed like a female.
Yeah, that's bad.
That does damage to your rep.
That does damage. That's a lot of damage. But then another thing, with Miguel Cotto, I'm a little concerned with Miguel Cotto because he retired and he didn't look so great against Saddam Ali, and Juan Manuel Marquez has been out of the ring since 2014. He's fighting a very dangerous counterpuncher in Juan Manuel Marquez. So if he wants to fight aggressively, I think Marquez is going to counterpunch him all night. But as a fan, yes. I mean, I feel like I didn't get closure with Juan Manuel Marquez, so I'm excited for that fight. But yes, as long as these guys are healthy, I would hate to see these guys get damaged to a point where they don't even need it for. Like, for what, bro?
Well,
they're going to be wearing headgear, though.
Well, they are?
If it's an exhibition, yes.
But Tyson
didn't wear that. That
one.
wasn't. I don't was an
think so.
exhibition too, right?
It was it was supposed to start at
Chavez Senior and Travis Vargas, they wore their headgear.
They did. But
I don't know the rules.
I think in Mexico, because it was in Mexico, I guess, but they did wear a head.
I know Antonio Tarver was rejected by the Georgia Commission when he was trying to fight Frank Morse, or Steve Kermit Cunningham was a replacement. So, I mean, the rules are strict for older people, as they should be.
They should be.
Oh, man, it should be.
I don't think it'll be as interesting as without, because you still want to see them, but I really enjoy Arce and Chavez with the head,
Well, you mentioned that. Why do you think they're coming out of retirement? And to be honest with you, with Miguel Cotto and Juan Manuel Marquez, I don't think that one's money related at all.
Nah,
I think that's pure passion for the sport, wanting to test themselves again, because neither of them need the money. Juan Manuel Marquez is worth like over $20 million.
I get that Tyson.
Miguel Cotto has his.
I get that Tyson did. Tyson
needed the money, yes.
Yeah.
And Oscar De La Hoya doesn't need the money.
Well,
he still has an ego, though. He still said what is it? Last time he said.
But what do you think? What do you think? Are you think these guys are stealing the thunder from the current boxers or prospect boxers? What do you think?
According to De La Hoya, he said, he was modest about it. Yeah, right. He said, I'm so amazed how talented I am that I still got it.
Wow.
That was when they interviewed in the last Virgil Ortiz fight.
If we're being, fair, or brutally honest, De La Hoya is more making his name as far as what he did in the ring. He hasn't been the greatest promoter. So ultimately, his focus has always been on himself, and he's always been able to promote himself. But when it comes to actually the business side and being a promoter and advocating for other fighters, he's kind of faltered a little bit. So the fact that he's still having those challenges, why should we be? You are who you are at the end of the day. So I think that, even though maybe because I'm poor, I don't know. I think that
we're poor.
Yeah, even when people have money, I think that they always want more.
Manny, how does it feel to have money?
I wish I had money. If we had money, we would be like everywhere. And every fight would go to Dubai. We'd go to
Spider,
everywhere.
We're asking the wrong guy. Spider, how does it feel to have money?
No, but seriously, I think that what they're chasing for is that glory, if you will. And I think they do like being in the limelight. And let's take it on twofold. One, the fight that we're kind of focusing on right now looks like De La Hoya and Marquez, right? So we have Cotto Marquez, sorry. So on one hand, you have a Marquez who seemed to have that chip on his shoulder, even though he's clearly one of the greatest Mexican champions, and not just in Mexico, but of all of boxing. One of the greatest counterpunchers. Hopper says the greatest counterpuncher ever produced out of Mexico.
Yes,
all these great things. He knocked out Manny Pacquiao viciously. Just had a great legendary career.
Mm-hmm.
A fantastic, amazing boxer, but he still seems to have that chip on his shoulder, like he's not given enough credit for whatever reason. And that's kind of
probably why he hates on Canelo.
I think that's a big part of it, but he's still wanting. It seems he wants to fill some sort of void. So for me, for someone to come out of retirement, and have an opportunity where they can capture some sort of glory or get another, crack at, getting a win in the ring in this setting, that doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, out of all the names, that's the one to me that makes the most sense, to be honest. Kind of the way he is and the way he was, and it just kind of, to me, it lines up in that way. And as far as Cotto, it's kind of strange where I think this just simply, this is all he knows, and that he's going to put his name out there to, maybe he can leverage it to kind of help his promotion company, or just, the fact of trying to get his name out there for the whatever ventures he wants to get into. But I think it's also about capturing that glory. So I think it's just kind of a combination.
Just nothing else to prove, to be honest. I think it's just more of the fact that the exhibition kind of thing is being adopted well by the fans, and they are show people. And when you're out away from the spotlight, like we are right now, we're on the spotlight. It feels great when we come to the studio, right? We want to be at the studio a lot. We want to be here. We miss it when we're not. And I think the same thing is for these guys. They're not in the spotlight.
We're not hitting each other in the face.
but what we're saying is we want to be at the spotlight, and we want to have every opportunity to continue to do what we love to do. And these guys, they feel young. They look in good shape. On both times that I haven't seen Marquez, physically, but what I've seen him, he still maintains himself in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like De La Hoya that he ballooned up and then he kind of came down. Yeah, I mean, exactly. So how all these parties really going to affect them if they actually come back? Yeah, you can spend some time training.
And July's not that far off.
It's not. I mean, I don't know when he started training. That's the other question. When did you start training?
He's not training.
And then what does he call? What is he calling training?
He's not training.
So that's
he probably jogs a mile or 2 miles.
You think he's a Mayorga?
He jogs to the liquor store.
He goes. He's like a Mayorga. He goes in and does 2 rounds. I train. I'm fighting next week.
I'm ready.
I don't know, but all jokes aside, I think that it's a positive thing, but it depends on how it's leveraged. So it's obviously getting us to talk about it. I mean, they're going to utilize it to kind of help the sport and be ambassadors and grow, or they're going to use it to feed their ego. It all depends on the fighter and what they do with it and how they want to position it and what they want to leave in regards to their legacy. So for me, I honestly, I'm going into it intrigued because I am a fan of these fighters in their latter part of their career. This part is more about, kind of curiosity of how it turns out. And honestly, I want to see something happen, but not at the expense of their health. And that's kind of my thing on it.
That's my thing. I want to ask you a question. I want to ask this question to Hopper.
Ask away, brother.
Clip it.
Ask away.
From all these guys that are actually coming back to retirement, speculating or not.
Canelo. Oh, all right.
Retire, get the heck out of here.
Whoa!
What is the fight that you
What's going on here, brother?
What's the fight that
that would change boxing?
You're eager to really see from all these all-timers that we've talked about and mentioned?
Eager to see?
Yeah.
Oh, easy. You have to ask. You already know, brother. It's Juan Manuel Marquez, of course, man.
Really?
Definitely, man. I can't because. And that was I wanted to ask you guys later, but which
I was thinking something else.
You were thinking Oscar De La Hoya?
Oscar and Felix Tito Trinidad.
No. Oh, you said which fight did I want to happen or which fighter?
To happen from all the ones that we've talked about.
Oh, I thought I heard you say fighter.
Because I mean, we're seeing right now fights are being made, right? But there's a lot of speculations of other boxers.
Well, the fighter. Okay. I'll answer it like this: the fighter that I want to watch come out of retirement is Juan Manuel Marquez. Yeah. The fight that I want to see again. Get righted because it was wrongfully scored is Oscar De La Hoya versus Tito Trinidad. I would love to see that fight finally get corrected without the crooked Don King judges. But no, let me touch on Marquez real quick though. Marquez was he was my boy. I was a huge fan of Juan Manuel Marquez before even people knew who the hell he was. I would order his when he fought Joel Casamayor. I ordered the fight. My dad was like, "Who the hell is what? Ken?" I said, "No, Dad, I want to watch this fight." And
that's after the loss of Pacquiao.
And I feel like the reason I want to watch Juan Manuel Marquez is because as one of his fans, I feel like I never got closure. He fought Mike Alvarado in 2014. He's and Marquez is a Hall of Famer now, well deserved. But I do feel like his retirement came out of nowhere because of his knee, forced him to retire. There was talk about him fighting. But it never actually happened. He was forced to retire because of his knee. So hopefully he's 47 now. I'm positive he's staying in shape because I see him on ESPN Deportes hating on Canelo all the time. So he looks to be in shape. So Juan Manuel Marquez, I'm excited to see him fight. Vamos, even though I like Cotto. Pero pues, ya sabes.
Well, that's a great thing, though. So, like, you want to see him as far as, like, to relive that magic and watching him before? Or you're kind of thinking, like, you kind of want to see him fall on his face a little bit,
no,
a little crow.
I want to just see him. Whatever happens. I just want to see him go out there and so I could have the closure. Because when he was fighting Alvarado, mentally I didn't think, oh, this was his last fight. I was thinking, okay, I got to watch him again. And he freaking retired. I'm like, well, shit, I never saw him fight again.
Yeah,
and he was good. I mean, he was fighting pretty well too as well. I mean, he was coming, Mike Alvarado, of course, and that was a pretty decent fight.
I remember that.
But I honestly I am excited for this. I think it's my only concern as I just mentioned earlier. But I got closure on Cotto. You didn't for
Yeah,
Marquez,
me,
but I did.
I did too.
I
got
did.
closer on Cotto because he
closer
told
on
us,
Cotto. Yeah.
hey, we're going to retire.
We're
This
gonna
is my last
retire,
fight.
and
Cool.
that's it.
Marcus, that never happened.
And it was funny because I was telling my dad yesterday, Dad, who's coming out of retirement fight, exhibition fight, and I told him, that Cotto's like, damn, Cotto, yeah, he made us lose a lot of money because we went to Vegas, we bought the tickets to watch Pacquiao, then we bet money on
did lose a lot
Cotto,
of fights.
and we lost, and the airline tickets, but we had a good time. It was a great time finally seeing Miguel Cotto right there and being part of that. Let's get ready to rumble action, right? It's just amazing. It's an amazing experience to be in one of these top main cards. But I'm excited too. I want to see what Cotto has. But like you said, I agree with you. I never thought that Marquez. I thought that Marquez still had some juice left before he retired. So
he's not alleging anything.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting how this kind of works out, and also the transition because you have so many fighters. I mean, the Superfly 4 Kings. I mean, they're getting up there in age, not nearly as older the fighters that we're talking about, but you have Chocolatito 33, but an older 33. He's been in a lot of wars. You have Gallo Estrada. Yeah, he's 30, but it's a 30 where he's seen so many battles. So that's the thing. Like, you take a fighter like a Manny Pacquiao, and he's 42. He's been through, literally he's fought in 4 different decades. He's been in so many wars. He's a living legend, he's in talks, the possibility of June 6th to be fighting who a lot of people feel is pound for pound, or if not pound for pound, in the top 2. Just real quick, now, how do you guys feel about that, and what's the comparison? Is it something where you feel like this is great, and this is kind of opening the opportunity where, you can have careers go longer? Is he the exception, or, you don't want to see him get hurt? What's your thoughts on that, Hopper?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see anybody get hurt. That's the important thing. These guys risk their lives.
Do you think that they'll probably come in different? Not like there's something in stake, like a championship honor, like legacy.
No, they're not. They're fighting for.
They're fighting.
These guys, they're fighting for. They're not fighting for money. They're not fighting for a belt. They're fighting just no. I don't think they'll take it easy, but they're fighting for. I don't know. It's just something personal that they need to tell themselves.
Because they both have.
They don't want to let it go.
They both have a lot of
ego.
ego.
They just don't want to let it go, and it's just.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's complicated because you definitely don't want to tell a grown man not to fight. Like Dana White told the story the other day. He's good friends with Mike Tyson. He came out and he bashed the Tyson fight just like we did. And then Mike Tyson called him and he told him, he goes, "Hey man, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you saying this about my fight? I'm a grown ass man. If I want to effing fight, I'll fight." And Dana White said, "You're right. I won't say," and he never said anything else again. And that's right. Then you don't want to bash these guys because they're grown ass freaking men. If they want to fight, shit, go ahead.
And that's the thing about it. It's not like you're bashing.
But
for me,
we're just concerned.
It's more about a concern. Obviously, as fans of the sport, you want to see the sport and the people that have given so much to the sport literally putting their lives on the line
because they're punching each other.
Yeah, you
It's
want.
not like you're coming out in basketball and take a jump shot or some shit.
Yeah, and to the point of what you guys said, what I think is very important, if they have all their mental faculties and they haven't been injured in any kind of severe kind of way, to me that's a huge win in itself.
Yeah.
That's
definitely
that's major.
That's what you shoot for as a boxer.
Yeah.
To retire with your faculties intact.
On the other hand, now we're talking about they're fighting for their ego, or they just want to stay connected. Although I would love to see him come back somehow.
Who?
I'd love to see him come back. And first of all, he's hurting in cash.
Tito Trinidad.
Oh yeah, and I never, like you said about Marquez, I never had a closure with him.
No.
No. And the reason why is this: Tito was on top of the world. Even when he fought William Joppy, that was before the Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins fight was supposed to be September around right. I think it was a week after the 9/11. And there were a lot of things that happened with Tito Trinidad during that period of time, personal issues and things like that. But that fight got postponed. and it got moved on. And then after that, Tito was never the same, but he was still on top of the world, undefeated, unified, going into one of the fights that people wanted to see. Of course, it was him and Roy Jones. They've always wanted to see that. It never happened, Roy Jones, before that, but I think he wanted to stay at the welterweights at that time. But I never saw him, in person fighting, and I just never had a closure. After that, he got 2 great fights, beat Mayorga. Then he fought Winky Wright, lost to Winky Wright, and then he lost to Roy Jones. And then after that, it was gone. I know it's been a lot. This is in 2008. I don't want to see him get hurt because I can feel the glance of, I can still feel, sometimes when he speaks, you can still feel those effects from the punches. But I would love to see him in an exhibition. Even with De La Hoya, I would love to see that.
Yeah, so he could lose again.
No. So he can get the respect
so he
that he's not getting till today.
Lose again or win
right?
again.
Do you really think that?
Win again.
Wow, that's gonna.
But
be
even if it's not with De La Hoya, and because I say it because De La Hoya rumored to come back, was gonna go Marquez, not happening. We've heard a lot, and I keep saying it. Tito has been training, and he looks sharp.
And he needs the money.
And he needs the money.
He needs the money.
He needs the money.
Yeah, for him, it'd be him and Tyson.
He needs the money, and he's probably going to make $5 to $10 million.
Easy. No, I'd probably make more than that.
More. I mean,
do you think the island would not support Tito Trinidad?
Oh, heck yeah. He's the people's champion.
Put it on pay-per-view.
He's the super champion.
Even if it's just, one round. I mean, dude, the island will support him.
Yes.
I will support him.
Everyone would support him. But
put some of these young Puerto Rican guys on the
Yes,
undercard.
you put Xander on it.
Oh, my
Or
God.
collaborate with Top Rank in some sort of way.
Triller!
Dude.
and have us calling the fight.
Triller.
Have us
I know
there,
you're listening to
give
me.
us credentials.
I know
to be
you're
there.
listening to me,
And a per
Triller.
diem for lunch.
You're making it happening out there. All right, we got a guy out there, Cupe Alto, Puerto Rico, Tito Trinidad, super campeón. Hey, get him call.
He'll come
something
out.
going. I mean,
He sees the money on the wall, not the
but
writing on the wall.
on the other hand,
money on
Tito,
the wall.
if you're gonna make that move, you gotta move. You gotta stay active.
Yeah, for sure.
Tito was getting hit a lot.
And
even
make
when
sure you
he
get
could
those
run.
judges you had for the De La Hoya fight.
Oh, no,
all right?
yeah,
You gotta
those-
bring those
Robbery of the
guys.
century.
Bring
Yeah.
those guys.
Or make the opponent run, like a little rooster.
The last
running
3
around
rounds.
there,
The last 3 rounds.
Even though he
last
threw
three?
more punches than
Last
him.
3? Are you serious?
Last 3 rounds. Last 3 rounds.
That hurts, right? Still hurts? Does it still hurt?
Not at all. Not at
And
all.
the new
Not at all.
Puñeta.
Because the universe knows. The world knows.
Oh man, the universe knows. Damn. Episode 81.
Thanos knows. Thanos knows.
Se acaba.
The Guardians of the Galaxy know. The Green
Godzilla.
Lanterns know.
Godzilla versus.
King Kong knows. 81.
In the books.
Hasta
Fuera.
luego. En vivo.
Ay.